Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Justice League. Now, of course, with my movie reviews, I do a non-spoiler version and a spoiler version, so once we get to spoilers, I will let you know. But let's start talking about the non-spoilers of this film. So, going into it, I actually heard a lot of good reviews, you know, that was fun, and then anyone who likes Justice League will like this, so I went in positive for this film. And I was a bit disappointed with this movie. Just going into the villain without, you know, delving too much into the story, Steppenwolf was very disappointing. He was extremely bland and really was just there to collect things. So probably one of the blandest villains I've seen in a very long time. So the actual plot wasn't quite there. And honestly, I didn't really love the team. A lot of it is just set up and it's like, alright, let's get the team together. But I didn't really feel the chemistry. And I would say, obviously, the only part I really liked was Wonder Woman, because that's a character that we saw developed. Everyone was excited after that film. She was very well developed in her own film, so you just get to see the aftermath of that character. And I would even say Batman. We know Batman well enough, not just because of the comics, but we've seen him before. All the other characters, it was hard to get into their arcs because we don't know them. And I'm not saying that we needed a movie, but maybe we did after seeing this film. I felt like Flash was way too much of a comedic relief. He's not exactly like Barry at all. There's parts of the film where he says, oh, I have no friends. I'm like, Barry has no friends? And I try to take myself away from the comics, but still, even as a thinking of no comic books, you know, if I had no history of the comics or even watched the Flash show, I feel like as a movie, he was just there as the comedic relief, and it was so obvious. Yeah, he had a tiny arc in the film that, you know, wraps up, but not enough for me to actually like the character. And then Cyborg doesn't have an arc at all. I mean, maybe, you know, him accepting himself would be an arc, but, you know, he definitely needed more in the film. And then Aquaman was really disappointing for me, because I do like Jason Momoa, and I was really excited for Aquaman, but another character that just didn't feel like their comic book counterpart and just doesn't have enough screen time to have a lasting impression. And he was definitely a character that needed some backstory. Maybe his movie should have came before Justice League. Now, there's other parts of this film I didn't really like. There's just like this family that shows up about 5 times, and they're supposed to be the view of the civilians as all this is happening. And I was like, wow, for random characters, these people are getting a lot of screen time. So that was a joke that I kept thinking about in my mind. So overall, I was very underwhelmed with this. Now, of course, it's better than Batman vs. Superman. I don't even know if it's better than Man of Steel. I mean, I guess it was better than Man of Steel, but I wanted to like this more than I did. I mean, I liked some of the action sequences. I didn't love the color palette. A lot of it looked CGI'd from, you know, just the backgrounds, and I felt like it was jarring. I didn't really like the costume designs for Flash or Cyborg. I thought Aquaman's costume design was fine. Wonder Woman, obviously, I liked, and I did like the look of Batman. There's some lines I enjoyed from this film. I did like some of Batman's sarcastic little quips in this movie. I thought it fit his character for the most part. I enjoyed Wonder Woman's lines and her being very comforting to the other Justice Leaguers, so I enjoyed that. And also like Commissioner Gordon. It was nice to see him. I'm really excited to see J.K. Simmons play him. I'm excited for that. I'm also just excited for the Barbara Gordon film / Batgirl film that Joss Whedon will be directing, so excited for that one. So that's my non-spoilers. I didn't quite like the film. I was very frustrated with it. Now going into the spoilers, so I mean, I think you all know that Superman returns. So Superman returns, and God, I hated the way he returned. They got the mother box and they put it into the water, which I guess they're kind of recreating. I would say kind of like a Lazarus pit type thing. I don't really know what they were going with, you know, going for it. He comes back and he's fighting the Justice League, which I'm like, alright, fine, you know, understandable. He's not exactly Clark. And then the most cliche thing happens. You got Lois coming out and say, Clark. And he's like, Lois, flies away, and he's perfectly fine. Now, the one thing I did like about Superman is that I feel like this is a good reboot for him. I did like kind of the southern hospitality side of him, and I feel like there is more hope for him. But I feel like that hope wasn't really injected in the other films enough to say, oh yes, Superman's hope, Superman's everything, and I feel like they rely so much on Superman in the end that he just kind of won the fight. You didn't need any of the other Justice League members, and that's why that kind of final act falls apart, because if Superman wasn't there, you know, they wouldn't have defeated him. So I feel like he was just the easy way to defeat Steppenwolf. So yeah, that part I didn't love about Superman. Other things to talk about in the spoiler section. Yeah, the whole kind of Avengers-esque plot line that was used here. Instead of one cosmic cube, you got 3 mother boxes you have to collect throughout the whole movie, and then use it to destroy the world. I think the new god should have been explained a lot better here to actually have any conviction to care about Steppenwolf, because there's so many interesting characters with the new gods. You got Big Barda, you got Mr. Miracle, you got Granny Goodness, you got so much awesome mythology there that is just not used. So I just feel like this was just a very shallow film, and you know, if Avengers didn't exist and all these other superhero films didn't exist, it'd be fine. You know, all your favorite Justice League members are here, but it just kind of feels like every other superhero film, and so many different tropes that are being used here. And for me, the only saving grace was once again Wonder Woman, because we know her the best. And although I was disappointed. There was this line in the movie where pretty much Batman saying, hey, you should be leader. And I did like that Steve line where she shoves Batman. That was a good scene. And then Wonder Woman accepts the leadership, but in that final act, she didn't really seem like a leader. So what was the point of that scene, and why? I mean, I get why Wonder Woman wasn't the leader in the beginning, because Batman's the one who's recruiting everybody, and you understand why Batman doesn't feel like the best leader, and why he's upset about Superman, but that scene, I feel like, would have made more sense if you saw Wonder Woman really taking leadership by the end. And then you get the ending credits, so we could talk about that. The whole Flash Superman thing was cute, I guess. And of course we know that we didn't find out who won. And then the ending with Deathstroke and Lex. Of course I don't love this Lex Luthor version, but Deathstroke, man, that makeup was so bad to make him look old. And I was so excited for Slade, and I was disappointing with that ending, I mean. So yeah, this was kind of lackluster for me. I'm gonna give this 2 stars out of 5. Very disappointing. And we will have a Media Madness for this next Friday. So if you want even more in-depth conversation, go join us for that. And that'll be on Comic Frontline. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this movie? Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links to my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.